With this Notion fat loss tracker, you can plan and design the numbers behind your journey to losing fat or doing body recomposition. The key thing is that this template is for the numbers, but it doesn't take action. So you will need to take action on it, and numbers are not enough. But you can set the foundations using this template, because through formulas and run-ups in Notion, we can calculate automatically your goals and your numbers when it comes to calories, macronutrients, and all the metrics that you need as a foundation to start your fat loss journey. So let's go through the structure of the template and understand how to use it and how it is made. First of all, the first page you will see is this landing page. And here you have a couple of links where you can view this video, read a detailed blog post, or understand better the structure and the why behind this template if you open the what is this and some nutrition essentials. But you can think of this a bit as a landing page where you can choose your page here based on your gender. And so I'm male, I'm going to choose male because the numbers are slightly different for the calculations. And so whenever I open this page, now I can find at the top half of the page a converter from pounds to kilograms, because we need to use metric units to do the calculations on this template, because we use the Mifflin-Sanjeo equation. That's one of the most accurate when it comes to calculating BMR and TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure, and that's why we need to convert your pound units into kilograms, as well as your height from feet to centimeters. If you already know your height and your weight in metric units, you don't need to go through these calculators. But the way this works is quite simple. You just input your weight in pounds here, and this column outputs automatically your weight in kilograms. And the same goes for the height. You can leave the first column empty. Next up, you have TDEE and macronutrients calculator. And so here, you see there are a couple of entries already created. And that's because sometimes, especially when your weight changes, your macronutrients and calories for maintenance will change as well. And so you can go through this table as many times as you want over the span of 1 year or 2 years or whatever amount of time you wish. In this case, if I want to add a new entry, I just go here and type the date. So I can also type at today and then move on to the next one. The weight in kilograms, you can look for it right here on the converter, or if you already know it, you can just input it right here. Height in centimeters, age in years, and the activity level. You can choose between sedentary, lightly active, moderately active, very active, and extra active. And this depends on your daily activity level, regardless of your exercise routine. But what you do on those hours when you are outside of the gym, how active are you? So let's say, for the sake of this example, it's going to be very active. And now we have all the calculations made for us. And please keep in mind that because that's a formula, it's not completely accurate. But this is a great starting point, especially if you don't know how many calories per day is your maintenance level. This is very helpful to know where to start, and then trial and error will teach you the way and let you understand where your set point actually is. And so because we input this data now, we have the amount of calories per day for maintaining the current weight, and that's a ballpark number, right? So don't take it as an exact measure. There is the amount of protein in grams, fats, and carbohydrates. And then you have a little reminder for the macronutrients that's still important, and alcohol, which has 7 calories per gram. So don't forget that when designing your plan, if any. The amount of protein, fats, and carbohydrates is calculated based on the standard recommendations of a Mediterranean diet. But if you want to change these numbers and the percentage allocated to each macronutrient, then you can go through each formula here, open the formula editor, and decide here the multiplier. In this case, protein is calculated as 1.8 times your body weight in kilograms. So if you want to increase it, you can just change the 1.8 to 2 grams or whatever. And we need to also adjust these other ones. Besides carbohydrates, they are calculated automatically based on the difference between protein and fats. So now you have this ballpark number. Let's say the next table, which is calorie deficit calculator. So you know your maintenance calories and macronutrients, or an estimate of those. Now, to lose weight, you will need to be in a caloric deficit for a certain period of time, depending on your weight loss goal, on your current state, and your fitness level. These are all variables that are very important. And from here, you can calculate an estimate as well, so a ballpark of what your caloric intake should be to lose the amount of weight that you wish to get rid of. And so on this table as well, you will type the date here. The intensity means how fast do you want to lose weight. And here there is a trade-off. So especially if you are eager to lose fat, chances are you think that an aggressive cut is the way to go. But actually, a sustainable way to lose fat is instead to go light or moderate, because that might be more sustainable in the long run, or in the medium run at least, because weight loss is a journey that takes consistent effort for a period of time that's extended and committed. So doing a short but aggressive cut will not lead to the best results. So let's say for the sake of this example, the deficit intensity is moderate. And so the weight loss goal percentage per week is 0.7%. The daily calorie deficit is 539 calories from your maintenance level. And that means that in order to be in a caloric deficit at a moderate intensity, you will need to assume 2,428 calories per day. And that's an estimate, so keep in mind, these are not exact numbers. They are based on math and on some variables of your physiology, but ultimately, trial and error will determine actually whether these numbers are accurate. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And here we have the amount of protein, fats, and carbohydrates adjusted for this new caloric intake. And finally, at the very bottom of this page, you can also keep track of your weight. So you can just click on New. You can leave the first column empty, and then choose the date, your weight, any notes, how you feel, or why the weight is like that. Did you do anything yesterday that might have been the cause of this weight fluctuation, or anything like that? And then here it says weight difference, and it compares the weight difference between your original weight and your current weight that you just input here. And then it outputs a check mark if you are in the right track, namely losing weight, or an X if you increase your weight. And that is just a visual way to represent the trajectory that you're following. So there's no egoic attachment to these marks, but it's just a fun way to display information and understand the trajectory. And that is it. Make sure to also read these instructions here before using the weight tracking table, because depending on whether you use kilograms or pounds to track your weight, you can hide some of these properties. And here there is written how to do that. And the exact same structure is also on the female page. The only difference is in some numbers and how aggressive the cut is and the percentage of weight per week. And that is it for the fat loss tracker. Always remember, this is just a numeric calculation. Execution makes a difference. So just calculating doesn't do anything besides bringing awareness on the numbers that you need to follow and making it possible for you to set up a clear and well-defined plan where you can execute harmoniously and consistently over time. At the very bottom of the page, you can find some other very valuable Notion templates that I think are somewhat complementary to this fat loss tracker and that you might find useful. With that being said, thank you for watching and see you soon.